Hello, and welcome to Around the Political World with John Rothman. I am your host, John Rothman. If you're a fan of the show, make sure to hit the follow button on the top right of Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening at this very moment. When you hit follow, leave a review or share an episode with a friend. It helps other people discover the show, keeps us going, and I like to point out each and every day, it expands our base. This morning is a paradoxical morning. There is so much going on in the world, but I feel compelled to talk once again about Donald Trump. And I have to tell you, it's an interesting commentary on my part that we've never had a situation where every single day a president of the United States takes some action which causes deep and abiding concern for at least half of America. These are unprecedented times. And how do we address these issues? Let me be frank and candid. We woke up this morning to the news that people working for FEMA have issued a declaration saying that the cuts that the Trump administration is now implementing will affect FEMA's ability to respond in a disaster. Let me point out that we have disasters taking place across this country, and hurricane season is now upon us. And so to hear from FEMA employees and former employees that there is a genuine concern about FEMA's ability to respond, given the attitude of the Trump administration toward FEMA, should concern every American. Instead, it becomes a news story without a thorough ability to debate and discuss. Do you understand that if there were a major disaster anywhere in this country and FEMA were not prepared, we'd be in trouble? And let me point out to you that the Trump administration has spoken about the fact that they would prefer if FEMA disappeared. There is, my friends, a deeply concerning issue of American safety. The President of the United States clearly has a different plan in mind. And we, my friends, may pay the consequences. And of course, a federal judge in Baltimore threw out the Trump administration lawsuit against Maryland's, listen to me, entire federal bench in an emphatic ruling that underscored the extraordinary nature of the suit. They made it very clear in the court that this would be potentially calamitous. The man who wrote the decision, U.S. District Judge Thomas Cullen, was nominated by President Trump, as I just said, also criticized the administration's attack on the judiciary, highlighting in a footnote that White House officials in recent days have described judges as rogue, unhinged, and crooked. The judge went on to say something that we should all hear. Although some tensions between the coordinated branches of government is a hallmark of our constitutional system, this concerted effort by the executive to smear, did you hear me? To smear and impugn individual judges who rule against it are both unprecedented and unfortunate. Do you understand the question? At issue is the lawsuit. In this lawsuit was an order by the chief judge of the Maryland District Court that stopped the immediate deportation of migrants challenging their removal. You understand the Justice Department said the automatic pause impeded the president's authority to enforce immigration laws, and it sought a court order blocking it. Well, the court upheld the idea that the president had exceeded his power. In fact, Cullen wrote this: in their wisdom, the Constitution's framers joined three coordinated branches to establish a single sovereign. That structure may be occasionally engender clashes between two branches, and encroachment by one branch on another's authority. But mediating these disputes must occur in a manner that respects, and listen to me carefully, that respects the judiciary's constitutional role. Do you understand that what the president is doing is assaulting the very constitutional framework which guarantees American liberty? This is most distressing, but that's not all. Trump's attempt to fire Lisa Cook, who took the oath of office to become a member of the Federal Reserve Board on May 23, 2022. That's a major issue. Donald Trump is trying to fire one of the 7 governors of the Federal Reserve. That's going to end up in court. And I hasten to point out, and I had several inquiries about this, the Fed was established in 1913 during the administration of Woodrow Wilson. Never in the history of the Fed has a president fired or tried to fire a governor. Leading experts say the Republican president's claim that he can fire Lisa Cook, who was appointed by a Democrat, Joe Biden, is on shaky ground. But it's an unprecedented move, and that's the point. If Trump succeeds in removing Cook from the board, it could erode the Fed's political independence, which is considered critical to its ability to fight inflation, and, of course, because it enables the Fed to take unpopular steps like naming and controlling interest rates. This is terrifying to me and is another example of the misuse of presidential power. Now, the Trump administration has made a considered judgment. They are going to go to court, and they believe that if these issues ultimately arrive at the United States Supreme Court, that they have a majority, and that therefore President Trump's actions will be ruled constitutional. I say this now with complete clarity. The President of the United States, whether Democrat or Republican, must respect the Constitution. Clearly, we have a president who does not respect the Constitution. The fact that he signed an executive order on flag burning, demanding the implementation of a prison sentence, is a clear indication of this president's defiance of the law and the Constitution. The Supreme Court decision legalizing the burning of the flag seems not to matter to this president. Well, it should. And the American people should be aware that this is a decisive moment, a turn, if you will, in the way we view the president and the president's relationship to the Constitution. Somebody sent me an email saying, "You're like a broken record, John." Maybe I am, but I intend to be a broken record every single day because democracy and our Constitution and our system of law is at stake. Do you understand? I could talk foreign policy. We could talk about Ukraine, the Middle East, the questions of Europe and its future. All of those issues are important. But if we have a commander-in-chief, a president of the United States, who has no respect for law or the Constitution, we as a nation are in deep, deep trouble. Thanks for tuning into another episode of Around the Political World with John Rothman. I am John Rothman. Make sure to follow along and send me your thoughts on the show by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts and sharing an episode with a friend or colleague so we can continue to grow and expand, which is, of course, our goal. And of course, you can contact me directly on Facebook, LinkedIn, or by emailing me. And many of you call me, and I'm delighted to hear from you. These issues are too important not to be discussed. And of course, my special appreciation to Gogo Zoger, the wonderful producer of this program, who make sure we're up and running every single day. I am John Rothman, and you are listening to Around the Political World with John Rothman. See you tomorrow.